Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. In the bustling, mid-sized international airport, our OP, a seasoned worker, faces off against the notorious Karen. Seeking Uber pickup, Karen denies the existence of clear signs. Undeterred, our hero guides her through a maze of signage, debunking each excuse. Karen, can't you see? Some background and setup. So I work at a mid-sized international airport. Not TSA for those that want to complain. Like at most airports, we have Uber and Lyft and rideshare services with a designated pickup location that's directly below baggage claim. This has been the spot since before the pandemic, as it took out the confusion and hassle of dealing with Uber people. There are about 40 signs in total that indicate, direct, and point passengers to where they need to go for rideshare location in each of the baggage claim areas. Not only that, the app for them direct them where to go as well with instructions, and there are other signs throughout the airport. I was working along with the supervisor directing traffic outside when an older man approached us to ask where Uber picks up. Even with signs everywhere, people often don't read or pay attention to their surroundings. We start directing the man to go inside down the escalator and to the pickup spot when she roars in. While her name is Debbie, we will know her as Karen for the story. Karen is the wife of the gentleman who asked us the location and was speaking with. Note, he was very polite and kind to us during the whole encounter and is blessed with much calmness since being married to Karen. The pickup spot is here. I told you, they will pick us up from here, Karen yells out. I address Karen and point out, no, this is not that Uber and Lyft pick you up downstairs. If they come up here, they get in trouble. Arguing with me as if I don't know what I'm talking about, she replies, no, they pick up here. I know where the pickup is. As it's a hot, sweltering day of around 100 degrees, I'm already in a mood, and this one wants to debate where things are. In my most condescending but polite and professional manner, no, they do not. There are signs to direct you downstairs where the pickup is located. Smuggle, there are no signs saying this. I looked. This is when the light bulb goes off. Laying the bait and trap, I ask, yes, there are. Would you like me to show you the signs? Yes, I would, she says with a crap-eating grin, thinking I would not waste my time or be able to correct her, as she must be right since she's Karen. Absolutely, I will. Right this way, I say, and begin walking to the door. I hold the door open and prepare myself to be the best tour guide of signage on the face of the planet. After coming in, I directly point out the sign right inside the door saying rideshare with the Uber and Lyft logos and the words downstairs on a poster directly near the door we just entered. I then walk over to one of the 3 carousels and point out these 6 signs on and around the carousels. I don't see them. What are you talking about? Karen strikes back to discourage me from speaking. But miss, they're right here. The black Uber logo and the pink Lyft are very large and able to be seen clearly. I point them out as if displaying an item on The Price is Right. Before moving on to the large 4-foot wide, 5-foot tall sign on the elevator that shows the same logos and in very large font, rideshare downstairs in bold text, I stand next to this one and point it out. She leans in as if she can barely see them. Well, there's just too much noise going on in here, she says as the grin turns to a grimace. I'm still unsure as to how noise affects eyesight and reading ability. But Karen, most of the signs in the whole baggage claim are pointing you to locations of interest, such as the pickup location of Uber and Lyft, I say with mock shock. I continue to point out sign after sign around baggage claim before Karen states there are none at eye level. This is where the best part of my whole week happened, as if Christmas came early and the spotlight leveled on me. She says this standing in front of a poster sign that's directly in the same height as Karen. I take the top of the sign and rock it back and forth, making it clank and shake. Karen, this is eye level, I say with the biggest smile on my face. You only need to look. Karen has been backed into a corner, and I had her on the ropes. Well, there are none before I saw none on my way into baggage, like a wounded animal attacking with the last bit of energy before the end comes. I can show you the ones further in the airport as you walked here if you want. This is where her husband, the kind old man, speaks up. Let's go, Karen. At which point, I learned her true name. The old man had a smirk on his face as Karen slowly walked into the elevator with her husband and my supervisor. I was told later on by that same supervisor that as they exited the elevator, which also has signage inside for Uber, that as they exited, he continued to point out the signs that were downstairs all the way to the curb where they were able to get on their way. The absolute pure ignorance can reach astonishing levels when you're dealing with a person who's literally too cheap to pay attention. And our second story. Cutting through the bank's red tape. So this happened many years ago. I owned a house and wanted to do a bit of remodeling, so I took out a small home equity loan, $10K. I ended up getting a new job a few hours away during the remodel and needed to sell the house. I finished the remodel quickly and got the house sold. Everything went well at closing, and a portion of the proceeds went to finish off the home equity loan and close the account. I know all the appropriate paperwork was done as I played a part in submitting it to get done. Also, it's my understanding that you can't actually sell a house that still has a lien against it, so I would think that would cause a problem during closing. Anyway, fast forward about a year and I get a bill from the bank that gave me the home equity loan for $50 to keep the account open. I contacted them, told them the situation, and they say, no problem, just fax us some paperwork and we'll close the account. I think, okay, no big deal, and do it. The next month, I get another letter saying that I still owed $50, and here are some late fees too. I call them up again, and we basically go through the same thing. They claim they had no record of me calling or receiving the fax. I asked that they ensure they save notes about this call and that I would send the fax right away and to look for it. The next month rolls around, and sure enough, I get another letter. I call again and get the same spiel. I'm sorry, sir, we have no record of your call. Are you kidding me? This time I'm recording the call myself and follow their requirements to the letter to get this sorted out. I make sure I get the confirmation receipt printed off the fax machine when I send it, showing that it was received by the bank's fax machine. I also follow up with them and they confirm they actually received it, and a few weeks later, another bill with more fees. Having had enough, I went to a local branch. I knew they couldn't actually do anything, but figured if I was in front of someone, maybe they would have a bit of extra pull to get it sorted out. I walk in and meet an extremely nice fellow, we'll call him John, who I relayed the entire story to and informed him I had a large amount of evidence proving that I had attempted to cancel this loan. John, as expected, explained that he couldn't do anything himself, but he'd be more than willing to call them back with me in his office. The people on the other end actually had the nerve to tell John and myself the same story. I'm sorry, sir, we have no record of you ever calling. John informed them that not only did I call, but I had plenty of evidence showing that I had called and had faxed them what they needed. Apparently, this made them a bit more compliant and offered to drop the fees if I paid them the $50 for the loan I didn't want. After a lot more back and forth about not paying at all and how the loan was canceled now about a year and a half ago, I was done. Poor John had no idea how else he could help, and the lady on the other end was not having any of it. Now, before I walked into the bank, I already had an idea in my head, but never figured I'd actually have to play this card. I breathed a bit to reduce my blood pressure and calmly stated, so if I understand you correctly, if I pay this $50 right now, I will have unlimited access to $10,000 that's secured by a house that I do not own? From a bank that I have no other accounts with? Is that what you're saying? John nearly falls out of his chair at this revelation and is doing his best to not let the lady on the other end hear his tears of laughter. There's nothing but silence from her end. Apparently, she didn't find this idea amusing at all. After quite some time of silence, she finally came back with a very terse, "Your account has been closed." We politely thank her and hang up. John thanks me profusely for allowing him to be a part of it. Apparently, it made his week to see the corporate drones get a small reality check. And our next story. Coworker who steals food. I have a coworker that likes to steal stuff. She'll take sips of people's drinks, take from a pack of rolls and other people's cookies that were safely tucked away. One day I had Girl Scout cookies, Thin Mints that I had hidden away. Guess who found them and ate them? When I called her on it, I basically yelled at her. She put the cookies down and apologized. It was a BS apology, like when you bump into someone and say, "Oh, sorry," like the cookies just fell in her mouth. She offered to replace them. She's a weird health food person and only eats special organic crap. I personally don't care what diet/lifestyle people choose, but she's the type of person who thinks she's better than everyone else because she follows X diet. She brought me in some weird health food knockoff Thin Mints. They were disgusting, and the texture made me want to puke. She knew damn well the cookies she stole from me were the real Thin Mints. We had a celebration in the office recently, and she offered to bring Girl Scout cookies. I thought she'd bring the knockoffs, but she didn't. The box of cookies sat there unopened until the end of the day when I put it in my bag and walked out with it. Edit. All of us have tried to handle this situation of food theft in a professional manner. We've asked her to leave our food alone, to please ask if she would like something, etc. She doesn't respond to it at all. A few people took the direct approach like, "You touch my food and I will end you." They all got reported to HR. One coworker told me they got called into a meeting where there was our manager, the food thief, and them. They were basically made to apologize to the food thief for threatening them. Apparently, the root cause of food theft was totally glossed over and barely mentioned. It went something like this. Well, we all know taking food is wrong. And our last story. Towed by HOA I don't belong to. I live in a cul-de-sac that was built in the early 2000s. A new developer bought the land around us and developed it a few years ago and created an HOA. Now they own the street I live on, making it a private street, and also own the small parking lots that are a part of the road. I got towed for parking a trailer in the parking lot, even though it was the only one of the small lots not marked in the neighborhood. None of my neighbors in the original homes in the cul-de-sac elected to join the HOA, but now we have no overflow parking. I know I likely have a way to get them to pay for the tow since the area was not posted as a tow zone, but I just simply cannot believe this is even possible given our house has been here over 15 years longer than the HOA. Update. I called the non-emergency number and they told me they will likely not be able to make a police report because it was not stolen, just relocated. I've tried calling the county and they told me to call the city. After calling the city, they told me the street is privately owned and to call the county mediation department that basically wants to settle this like a non-biased third party, which I don't think is my best option yet. I have a feeling that I should have been grandfathered in somehow. I don't understand how a road that was seemingly public until 2020-ish can be privately owned with no vote of mine or even a notice. This trailer was also clearly not abandoned as it was chained to a tree and had a tongue lock on it. Update number 2. Driven by a shared sense of injustice, we mobilized to oppose the excesses of the HOA. Armed with legal assistance and a close-knit community behind us, we confronted the association, demanding accountability and transparency in its actions. In the face of mounting pressure, the HOA was forced to recognize our rights and give in to our demands. We emerged victorious, securing legal access to the cul-de-sac and reclaiming our neighborhood from the clutches of overzealous authorities. Victory is sweet, my friends. The HOA has to bow down. Cue the confetti. Justice served. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.